In this video, I'm going to discuss how to create the Unreal projects for the materials portion of tech art. Every week, you'll be given a new zip file. Let me show you, for example, like this right here, called for each of the chapters. I'm just going to quickly unzip this onto my desktop. And this is going to contain all of the work that all of the files in your Unreal project that you need. It's not an actual Unreal project. So what we're going to need to do for each week is we're going to have to create a new Unreal project and put these assets in there. So I'm going to demonstrate that right now. So where you choose a new project, we're going to choose Games. And we're going to do a blank project because we're going to put all the assets that we need. We want to keep these projects kind of small so they're not too hard to open and move around. So I'm going to hit next. And we want to do a blueprint. That's fine. Maximum quality is fine. That honestly doesn't matter. I don't remember if we need to turn this on or off. I don't think it really matters. And if we did need to turn it on, it would tell you in the directions when we do each week. We are doing desktop console, and please make sure that you are turning off the starter content. Again, we want to keep these kind of small so that there's not a lot of files to move around. So if we do end up needing starter content, you can always bring them in later, but let's just do no starter content. I'm then going to name my project the chapter for the week. So this is going to be chapter 1. You should do your last name too. Sorry, excuse me. Or something like that. Honestly, I'm never going to get your full projects. So whatever works for you. I'm going to create it, and this is going to take possibly a few moments. And you should have your new project. All right, so the first thing you need to do after you've created your new project is close the project, because we are going to put our content in there. So hopefully you remembered where you saved it so that you can find it easy. I have mine right here, and I'm going to locate the content folder, and I need to put these two files in there. This is very, very, very important, so make sure that you're paying attention. Don't put the whole chapter 1 folder in there. It's not going to work correctly. You're going to run into issues. You need to put that starter content and the UE4 shaders and effects folder right into the content collection. So it should look like this. If I go to previous projects of mine, you can see that. Let's see, like chapter 4, I have that starter content and the UE4 shaders. So it should always just be in content. Don't accidentally put it in like the chapter folder. So I go back to it just to give you one more look at it. So go in, find content, drag those two folders in there. So you should have that starter content and UE4. Again, this is super important. If you do not put this in the right place, it's not going to work. Next, I'm going to then reopen the Unreal project. And once I get it open, you can see I now have those two folders in my content browser. If you do not see those two folders, you see something else, you messed up, please go back, rewatch the video, and figure out how to do it correctly. Because we need to see that starter content and the UE4 shaders and effects. The reason I'm doing it this way is that I want to make sure that you have all the assets you need to do each week's demo without a lot of like extra junk in here, just to kind of keep things nice and clean. So you'll find any kind of maps that you need in here to complete things. You'll find any assets or textures. If we do need to use some starter content, this will come along with it as well. So when you are ready to get started, this is very important too. You're going to have to do this every single week for our Unreal stuff. In your content folder, make a new folder. That's your last name, first name, as well as what project this is. So this is chapter 1 that we're working on. So I'm just going to do CH1 just so I know that this is where I'm working. So any work that I do needs to go in this folder. You can make subfolders, that's fine. Like I can make a new folder for my maps. And when we get to it, if you are going to be making like, importing in textures, if you want a materials folder, etc., that's fine. But we need it to be inside of this folder. So I'm going to open up one of the chapter maps. So let's just say that we are working in this one. It might take a minute to compile because every week you're going to have a couple different maps that you're going to be working in that you're going to be doing different things. So I have my new scene. The very first thing I need to do is do a file, save current as, and I need to put it inside of my folder. So hold on a second. Game, content, why are my folders not visible? Oh shoot, I see why. See, I made a mistake. Don't do what I just did. I accidentally made my folder inside of starter content. Do you see that? I need to move that out. It needs to be at that top level so that I should see UE4 shaders and effects, the starter content, and now this folder. I think I need to move. That's fine. Okay. Always at the top level. Okay, let's go back. We're going to do a file save current as, and I'm going to put it inside of my folder. I'm going to rename it 0106 and then my last name. Oops, sorry, I typed that wrong. So I can distinguish that this is my map. And we're good to go. So I am now working in here. It's not necessarily with this starter content. Let's say I make a new material. Again, you can have some folders if you want. You're most likely going to want to do this. I'm just doing this as an example so that we have something to show. So like, let's say this is my material. I've applied it to something in my scene. And we did all the project, we've saved everything, and now it's time to turn in the assignment. So this is why it's very important to make sure that these two folders are correct. You have your own folder, and everything new that you create is in here somewhere, either in a subfolder or saved right into here, including those maps. You are going to then, when you're ready to submit, right-click on your folder, like double check everything's saved, everything's closed, everything's good. Right-click, and you're going to choose Migrate. It's then going to tell you everything that you need in order to successfully migrate this all out. I want you to uncheck starter content and the UE4 shaders and effects. The only thing you should be migrating is yours. I will have the starter content. I will have this in my own project for grading purposes. That's why everything you save needs to go in this folder so that I can just get all the files that have been changed. And these need to be at the correct level, and this needs to be at the correct level. So once I have just my folder checked, I'm going to click OK. I'm going to find a place to put this. Most likely, like your desktop would be a good one. I'm going to name it like chapter 1 and my last name. I'm sure I have naming conventions set for these projects, and I'm going to export it to that. It's going to say, hey, are you sure? Yes, we are sure. It shouldn't take too long to migrate that out. If I go ahead and take a look at this now, right here, this is what you're going to submit to me. The way that I work this is I take everyone's folders, because this is exactly, there's my map, there's my asset. So it's basically anything that you've created in that thing. I'm going to drop these folders in a version of that chapter with, the starter content and the UE assets and all that. So I'll have everyone's project in there. I only need to open up one Unreal project to grade these and just go through systematically and load everyone's map. This is a significant time saver. If we zip this, I know it's only two things in there, but we've all worked with on trying to move full Unreal projects and how large they are. This is only like 400 kilobytes. When we start adding materials and textures in, it's going to get bigger, but it's going to be significantly smaller than an Unreal project. So we'll be able to easily trade these around, move these around. Expect every week to have one of those zips for you to put into an Unreal project, and then you're going to give one back to me. If you have any questions about this, please let me know. Make sure that you are being very careful again about where you put the folders. Because if they're not put in the correct spot, you're going to have issues with files not being found, textures disappearing off models, and so on. Please make sure that you read your comments on the rubric and look at your grade too. If I can't open your project or all your materials are missing or broken, you're probably going to get a 0 with a note saying, please talk to me as soon as possible. The first couple of times it is a little bit weird doing this. So if you do mess up, I do have a bit of a grace of that of I need, I'll help you submit it, resubmit it. But, after the first couple weeks, I'm going to expect that you understand the process and can do this. Remember from that tech art video that tech artists are really heavily involved in file management and stuff like this. So this is really good practice. So please let me know if you have any questions on how to import these in and how to export them out. But this is going to be the process every single week with the Unreal stuff.